Hey guys, my name is Marie, and for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my labor and delivery, like just what went on during labor and how labor goes and everything like that. So once you get closer to your due date, you have doctor's appointments weekly. So I went to both of mine. They had told me that I was 1 centimeter dilated, and then I went to my last one, and I was 1.5 centimeters dilated. And then I think my last appointment was on my due date, which was January 26th. 2017, which is my mom's birthday. We had went to dinner, and I was eating spicy food because they say that spicy food can help with contractions or start to get contractions, I believe. And that night I was getting Braxton Hicks contractions, nothing major or anything like that. And then the next day, nothing at all. The 28th, like later that night, like around 10:30, I started getting contractions. They were like 2 hours apart, and then in the middle of the night, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I had to pee really, really bad, so I went to the bathroom, and like as soon as I sat on the toilet, like it all came out, and I thought maybe it was my water, so I had went back to bed. 2:30. My boyfriend was in there with me. He had his hand on my belly, checking for contractions and stuff like that. Around 2:30, my contractions got stronger. They were 1 to 2 minutes apart. So we had went to the hospital. By the time I got to the hospital, it was like 3:30, and then I went to the emergency part. They had put me in a wheelchair and checked me and everything like that. So they took me into like the pregnancy triage part, and they had checked me again. I was 2.5, almost 3 centimeters. So they had told me that I can either go home or I can walk around the hospital, and I said I would rather walk around the hospital. So when I started walking, it was like 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in the morning. I walked around the whole hospital. I came back, it was like 6 in the morning. I was 4 centimeters. So they admitted me into a room, and my contractions were getting a lot stronger and stuff, but I wanted to wait until I got a little bit more dilated to get the epidural and stuff like that. So I was going on from side to side because my son's heart rate was dropping and stuff like that. So, and then I put a pillow between my legs because they say that it will open up my cervix to dilate more. And then I think it was around like maybe 10:30 that day. I was a 6 or 6.5, and then I got my epidural at 7 centimeters. And then the way they give it to you, you have to like crouch like this, and I was holding a pillow, and they put it in my spine, and then the doctor was touching me with needles and stuff like that, and I still felt it, so they had to give me another dose. And then after that, well, way before the epidural, like I was in so much pain. They had made, when I was going from side to side, they had made me get on all fours and just rock back and forth because I had so much back pain and back pressure. So once I got the epidural, I was like maybe 8.5, almost 9 centimeters, almost time to push. I've told the nurse that I had to poop, and she was like, "No, you don't have to poop. It's the baby's head. You're fine. Just like bear down a little bit. Do not push." So I did that. Then I got to 10 centimeters, and then I started pushing just for the head to crown. Pushing for the head to crown was about 3.5 hours, and then finally his head crowned. So after that, I had to wait for my doctor to come back because there was another lady in labor, and I was like, no, I need to push, like I have to push, because I felt like he was just gonna like fall out. And the nurse was like, no, you need to wait for your doctor, because if you don't wait, something bad might happen. So I waited for the doctor to come in. He came in like 10 minutes later, and then he said, okay, give me one big push. If you give me one big push, your baby will come out. I pushed like an arm, like a shoulder came out, and then I pushed again, and then he came out. and all I heard, like, as soon as he came out, all I heard was him scream and cry, and I started crying. And then my boyfriend went live, which I didn't even know he went live on Facebook, and I'm like over here talking about my vagina and stuff. But yeah, my son was born that day, January 29th, 2017 at 1:57 p.m. He was 7 pounds, 13 ounces. He was 20.5 inches long. He was a healthy baby. He was just, I don't know, I would give birth all over again, to be honest. And it's not like what most people think it is. Like, they say it hurts. It does, but it doesn't. I don't know. But I would go through it again because I love my son so much. And now he is almost 8 months old, 22.5 pounds, healthy baby. He's growing so fast, and I just love him. And yeah. And then, like, I had stayed, like, in the hospital for 2 days because he wasn't eating. So we had stayed just to make sure. And then we went home that day, and he was just a good baby. Like, I don't know, I love him so much. And that's my labor and delivery story. So I hope you guys like it. Bye.